What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Naughty with Naughty Wrestling, and I am bringing to you all the latest news around the world of professional wrestling in the WWE. So let's get into it. This Friday, SmackDown live in Saudi. Woo! This one is going to be a must watch. We have three championship matches. We are going to be having the Street Profits, the Wyatt Six for the tag team titles, Julia versus Zelina Vega for the United States Championship, Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax, and a last woman standing match for the Women's Championship. These three matches, I don't understand why we're not getting these at Night of Champions because we have a pay per view, well, a PLE called Night of Champions, yet there's only two championships being defended on that PLE. So I don't understand why you can't just move those matches onto the PLE. They're going to be in Saudi Arabia anyways. It's not like, they're switching it up and they're having it on SmackDown because people don't want to go to Saudi. Saudi is, SmackDown is going to be in Saudi. So is the Night of Champions pay per view in Saudi. So it's like they're all going to be in Saudi. Why not have all the matches there? But yeah, too little, too late. It is what it is. What are you going to do about it? Either way, I think we're going to get a title change in the tag team championship match. I think the Wyatt Six are going to go over. They are going to beat the Street Profits. They're not doing anything with the Street Profits. They're actually not doing anything with the tag division altogether. But I think they're going to need some fresh faces for the champions. And I think the Wyatt Six might be the team to do it. Uh, Street Profits, I think, are much better as the chasers than they are as champs. Get them, get the titles off of them. Get the Wyatt Six. I think you could have better storytelling with the Wyatt Six with anybody on the roster, especially with anybody trying to get the titles off of them. They could hold it until Survivor Series. They could hold it till the Rumble. Um, they could hold it for a cool minute and feuding with DIY, uh, Pretty Deadly, even though Pretty Deadly is just rough. Um, Fraxium, Street Profits could have their rematch. You could have just challengers like that against the Wyatt Six would be a better fit for the tag division than having the Street Profits doing nothing with them. I think they defended them twice since they've had it, and really it wasn't the greatest matches. I think the latter match was pretty much the best match that they've had, and that was the Friday. What was it, before SmackDown? I think it was before SmackDown. The SmackDown before WrestleMania is what it was. But I mean, that match should have been seen at WrestleMania, but it is what it is. What are you going to do? So yeah, I think the Wyatts should be getting the championships for sure. You're going to be seeing Julia and Zelina Vega, which I don't think there's going to be a switch in this match. I think Zelina Vega will win this match, but I think there's going to be some screwery in this match um, to get Zelina still the champion, and maybe them feud for the next couple of weeks. At least give them a little bit more time to build up their match. And I think Julia should go over in this match, but at the all women's pay per view Evolution on July 12th, because they don't have any matches really going on for Evolution. They have an all women's pay per view match in 2 weeks, and they don't have any kind of matches. We were supposed to have a Liv Morgan and Nikki Bella feud, but with Liv Morgan getting injured and being out for 6 months and needing surgery, we're not going to be seeing that match at all anymore. So I say we get the Julia and Zelina Vega match for the United States title. That's gonna be a banger of a match too, and that should go over at the all women's pay per view. Um, so I don't know how they're gonna mess it up. I don't know if they're just gonna maybe feud on the outside to maybe like a 10 count, and get like a double DQ in this match. I don't know who would interfere in this match to make Julia lose or Zelina lose. I don't know. We have got to get some more matches in this pay per view because they're pretty much having an all women's pay per view, which I am all for it. I have always loved having an all women's pay per view because they don't really feature the women like I feel like they should. So an all women's pay per view would be great. The first one was good. I didn't like the fact that they had what was it, Nikki Bella versus Ronda Rousey in the main event of the Evolution One. I think that was forced. I didn't really like it, and now they're having Evolution Two, and they haven't even did anything for it. Which there's a lot of rumors saying that they're having this pay per view just because AEW is having pay per view that weekend, so they're trying to uh, get in the way of All In. But I mean, who knows? Who knows? I know they could be having some NXT women in the Evolution pay per view. They're having a pretty sure they just announced it was Jordan Grace versus JC Jane during the Evolution pay per view, which I honestly think we could be seeing Jordan Grace winning the belt off of JC Jane, and then maybe even seeing Jordan Grace defend the title against Blake Monroe at the Great American Bash in July. I don't know. I just don't. I don't. Blake Monroe is phenomenal. I'm so excited to see her, but I don't think she deserves to be on the NXT roster. I think she deserves to be bumped up to the main roster. I think she's a big enough name to be on the main roster, feuding with women like Charlotte, um, Alexa, Tiffany Stratton, even on the other side, Becky Lynch. We could see Bailey. You know, we could see women like that in the feuding with Blake Monroe. But I do think we see Blake Monroe versus Jordan Grace at the Great American Bash. But Jordan Grace is probably going to beat JC Jane for the NXT Women's Championship at Evolution to maybe fill out the card a little bit more. We'll see a couple of those matches, but I do see uh, Julia and Zelina Vega um, maybe extending their feud into the Evolution pay per view. Another match that I think that we are going to be seeing that we will see on Friday is Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax. I do think in the last women's standing match, but I do think that Tiffany Stratton is going to beat Nia Jax, and we're either going to see two things happen. We're either going to see Tiffany win clean and go on to SummerSlam and face off against uh, Jade Cargill for the SmackDown, the WWE uh, Women's Championship, and then we'll see uh, Naomi and cash in her briefcase and become the new WWE Women's Championship and interrupting Jade Cargill. And maybe Jade Cargill beating Tiffany Stratton and see Naomi win and just ruin all types of Jade Cargill. And I mean, we already seen her push Jade off, off the, what is it, a balcony, I guess you would say, onto a car, and injuring Jade for a couple of months. So seeing Naomi just totally wreck Jade's moment in becoming the WWE Women's Champion would be perfect. Or we could see, since it's the last women standing match, and they will probably go until someone can't get the count of 10. They're both Tiffany Stratton and both Nia Jax are both going to get injured, and they're going to be almost to a 10 count. And then we see Naomi come out and cash in her briefcase, winning the title off of Tiffany after maybe Tiffany beats Nia and Naomi winning. And then Naomi and Jade can go to SummerSlam and go against each other. Maybe we could see Bianca Belair getting implemented in this match. I'm not sure. Maybe we even see a Bianca Belair and Naomi for Evolution, and that can get extended into SummerSlam, and there we could have the triple threat with Jade Cargill, and all three of those women can go at it. The SummerSlam. It is going to be a 2 night event at SummerSlam. That's going to be the first 2 night event at SummerSlam, so we could see that going on. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing that. I honestly would not mind seeing that at all. They do need to figure out something for Evolution because they are having to rewrite everything, which brings me to my next topic. They are going to have to be rewriting, which I hear that WWE is changing the whole Evolution card because of Liv Morgan's injury, which doesn't make sense to me because Liv Morgan is a tag team champion and they're having to change the whole Evolution card, which to me, I feel like they should only change the whole Evolution card if it was around a WWE Women's Champion, which would either be Tiffany Stratton, maybe Naomi if she cashes in, or an Io Sky. And it's none of those women. It's a tag team champion and Liv Morgan, which don't get me wrong, Liv Morgan has been carrying this women's division on the Monday Night Raw side for the greater half of 2025. And hell, even back in 2024. So I do see they were going to change the card for a championship, but for Liv Morgan, it's kind of crazy because she had just got injured, last week? And a week prior to that, she was going to feud with Nikki Bella, which to me, I felt like it was going to be turned into a Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez versus Nikki Bella, and either bringing in Brie Bella and maybe have the Bellas feud with Liv and Raquel for the tag team titles, or we could have been seeing Nikki Bella and Rhea Ripley going up against Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. Now that Raquel Rodriguez called out Rhea Ripley and is feuding there, which I don't know why they would get Rhea Ripley and Nikki Bella teaming up because that's to me water and oil. It doesn't make sense to me. They're two different women, and for them to be tag team champions, I don't see that. So I would have only been able to see that if Nikki Bella would have eaten the pin at Evolution, and maybe Liv Morgan would have pinned Nikki Bella. But maybe we see because they were trying to figure out what they're going to do with the women's tag team titles now that Liv Morgan is out with an injury for the next 6 months. But now we could see Roxanne Perez getting maybe inserted in the women's tag team title, and she could take that role of the Liv Morgan, and she could be teaming with Raquel Rodriguez, and they could be a team going up against Rhea Ripley and Nikki Bella. Then maybe we could see, Rhea Ripley or not Rhea Ripley. I'm sorry, Roxanne Perez. Maybe pinning Nikki Bella, um, and them keeping the titles. All I know is at the end of the day, the end game that I see is Roxanne Perez taking the role of Liv Morgan, of how Liv Morgan took the role of Rhea Ripley. And it could just be kind of like a deja vu type of thing. And, Rhea Ripley was part of Judgment Day. She was kind of getting pushed out of Judgment Day, kind of leaving Judgment Day to kind of do her own thing. And Liv Morgan kind of came up and took Dominic Mysterio away from Rhea Ripley, and she became part of the Judgment Day. Now Roxanne Perez is going to be taking that role and is kind of slowly getting, pushing Liv Morgan out of the Judgment Day because, Rhea Ripley got injured. So when she came back, she was kind of just out of the Judgment Day. And now Liv Morgan's injured. So when she comes back, she'll kind of be out of the Judgment Day. and it'll be Roxanne and Raquel Rodriguez being a team and being a part of that Judgment Day. Maybe Roxanne and Dominic Mysterio kind of getting together. I don't necessarily like that idea just because it's just been recycled so many times. And I mean, we've seen Dominic Mysterio, when he left and he turned on his dad, Ray. He left with the Judgment Day. Him and Rhea Ripley kind of got together, and they were kind of a thing, kind of a couple. And then it became Dominic and Liv becoming a couple, and now it'll be Dominic and Roxanne being a couple, which I don't know if any of you guys are on social media or on Instagram. There was a picture that showed Trish Stratus holding Dominic Mysterio in kind of like a hugging type of thing. Dominic was on top of Trish Stratus, and Trish Stratus was kind of hugging Dominic and holding him up in the air, kind of thing. And I posted saying we got to stop this man because he is getting too out of hand, taking all the women that us men are in love with. I mean, us men love Rhea Ripley. We love Liv Morgan. We are becoming infatuated with Roxanne Perez because she is beautiful. I hate to say it, she's beautiful. Actually, I don't hate to say it. I love to say it. She is very beautiful. Late 90s, early 2000 kids. We were in love with Trish Stratus, and he is taking all of our girls. And I tell you right now, I will go up to Dominic and I will run him over with my wheelchair if I see a picture of either him and Alexa or him and Lita, because this man has got to be stopped at all cost. He has got to be stopped. It can't be happening anymore. It cannot. I'm done with it. I'm so done with it. But Roxanne Perez can definitely be sliding into Dominic's DMs and getting into the Judgment Day, bringing him chicken tendies, chicken nuggies, chicken whatever ease. And I mean, Rhea Ripley said it best. Dominic is a chicken tendies slut, and he will do whatever for a chicken tender. So, I mean, we can definitely see that. We can 100% see that. Liv Morgan is going to be needing surgery. Um, I'm pretty sure on her shoulder is what they said. It looked like her elbow got shattered against Kairi Sane, which brings me to another thing. I know Kairi Sane was getting a lot of heat, and right at first, I was one of them. I was kind of upset at Kairi being like, why, Kairi? Why? And now looking back at the injury, it was a freak accident, and it was the tiniest move. And it wasn't even a move that Kari did to her arm. Kari did like this drop toe hold where she tripped Liv, and Liv just fell, landed on her elbow. It was over. And I would apologize. I would like to apologize to Kari Sane because I was one of those guys that gave Kari hate. But honestly, it wasn't Kari's fault. It was just a wrestling move. Can be done a billion times. You can get injured the one time, and that is it. You're needing surgery. Just like Seth Rollins when he did a flip off the turnbuckle and he broke his leg. Or Sami Zayn when he got the smallest injury, and after that he was injured for a while there. So I do hope that Liv Morgan does come back better than ever. I do think that when she does come back, she is going to be implemented in the Royal Rumble. I do think she could win the Royal Rumble. I think she gets over that hump, becoming, especially the last 2 years, she was right there at the very end of the Royal Rumble, and then she loses at the very end and didn't make it over the hump. But I do think that this year that she can come back, she can have that Charlotte Flair type of return where she comes back and she could win the Rumble. And maybe at the time we do see Roxanne Perez, um, and we see Roxanne Perez being the champion, and they could feud all the way to WrestleMania, and that's where Liv could have her crowning moment and winning the belt off of Roxanne, maybe putting an end to the Judgment Day after once and for all. We did see when Liv Morgan was feuding with Rhea, we did see Dominic trying to hug Rhea Ripley to try to maybe soften Rhea Ripley up. Maybe we see Dominic trying to hug Liv, and Liv doesn't fall for it, and you know does like a move to Dominic, or maybe does something to Dominic. But I do think the Judgment Day. I think this is what the Judgment Day needed. Um, I think they needed Liv Morgan to get injured to maybe keep the Judgment Day going, because it was floundering fast. There was nothing that the Judgment Day could have been doing even more. I think people were getting tired of seeing the Judgment Day. Liv Morgan injured and Roxanne getting being a part of the Judgment Day. I think it refreshes the Judgment Day's their story, especially Finn Balor bringing Roxanne Perez in, just like Finn Balor brought Liv Morgan in, um, into the Judgment Day. So I can see all that. I can see it playing out until next WrestleMania, and then that's where we could see it all kind of culminate and go from there. But yeah, I mean it's a very unfortunate for Liv Morgan, but no, it is what it is. Another story we do see that could also take place during Evolution in the next couple of weeks is a triple threat match between Becky Lynch, the Intercontinental Champion, uh, defending her title against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. We did see Bayley and I'm sorry, Roxanne. I'm still on Roxanne. Unfortunately. But Bayley and Becky Lynch go 1-on-1 for the Intercontinental title on Raw this past week. We've seen Lyra Valkyria come out and argue from the outside um, to Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch was trying to dare her to hit Becky to get disqualified. Lyra didn't go for the bait, and then you see Becky Lynch do a baseball slide to the outside, trying to hit Bayley, but she ended up hitting Becky, or not, I'm sorry, Becky, but Lyra ends up hitting Lyra. And Bayley takes advantage and is about to finish Becky off and win the Intercontinental title, and is going for an elbow drop off the top rope, a Macho Man elbow drop. And you see Lyra get into the ring and attack Becky, which I thought was kind of sloppy because she wasn't attacking Becky in the first place. And then it took a baseball slide accidentally, going for Bayley, and that's what sets off Lyra. So it got Bayley kind of irritated and mad at Lyra, saying to her, you could kind of hear him in the inside after the match was over with, because the ref called for the bell and the awarded the victory to Becky and giving the title still to Becky. You can kind of hear Lyra and Bailey kind of arguing inside the ring, and Bailey kind of saying, "What are you doing? I had her beat. I had the Intercontinental Championship taken from Becky until you interrupted." So I could see this becoming a triple threat match at Evolution. I where I do see Bailey winning this title off of Becky and being the new Intercontinental Champion. The Intercontinental Championship hasn't been really in the spotlight that it should be. I know Lyra tried to do the best she could, but Lyra wasn't that big of a name to put that kind of spotlight on the Intercontinental title. And Becky, when she won it from Lyra, I thought that was a good spot for her to be in because she could elevate that Intercontinental title where it needs to be. And Bailey is a big enough name where I think she could also be a big enough name to put the spotlight on the Intercontinental title and give it that shine that it needs. And then maybe after we see Becky and Bailey and Lyra feud for the triple threat Evolution and Bailey winning. Maybe we don't see Becky in that kind of spotlight for a while. Maybe she goes on to EO. Maybe she does something else where she feuds, somewhere else. But I do also see Lyra changing spots and getting maybe a fresh look, and maybe becoming a heel, and maybe turning on Bailey and becoming a heel and doing the heel thing with Bailey, which I'm not the biggest fan of, only because she Lyra just feuded with Becky, who is a heel, and Lyra was, a face, and now she ends up becoming a heel, just a few weeks later, which, like I said, it doesn't make sense to me. But I do know that she needs a fresh look, which I could see that happening, and I could see Lyra and Bailey feuding into maybe SummerSlam, having that match where we even see either Bailey winning, and I would like to see Bailey keeping the title at least maybe until Survivor Series or until the Rumble of next year. Give her something big because Bailey deserves it. I think Bailey deserves something huge. She's not one of those kind of women that is in the back, politicking her way to the top, where you see some of the women do. She wants to bring up the title and bring up all the other women in the locker room. So she deserves it. She's a hell of a wrestler, and I freaking love her. Let's just get rid of that awful entrance music. I do know it's been rumored that she is going to be partnering up with Paramore, and Paramore is going to be doing her entrance music. Maybe we see her entrance music being debuted at SummerSlam. Maybe we see that. I could see that happening. That would be awesome. That could be a fresh take for Bailey. That would be perfect. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I just know the Evolution card needs to get um, filled up fast because it's only a few weeks away, and that would be a good way to fill up the Evolution card. That's already like 4 matches right there that I just announced. Julia and Zelina Evolution, um, Tiffany and Naomi Evolution, Bailey and Becky and Lyra Evolution, and Jordan Grace versus Jason Jane at Evolution. So just need maybe like a couple more. Maybe have the tag titles, like I said, being defended with Nikki and Rhea, or the Bella Twins versus Roxanne and Raquel. That could be 5 right there. So that's 5 matches, and we all know Triple H likes to do 5 matches. His PLEs. Maybe add one more. since it's an all women's pay per view. So yeah, I don't know. We could see that happening. Yeah, Goldberg. Yeah. Goldberg returned this past week. He returned to have one final match. Okay. Now, I don't know how much sense this makes to anybody, um, especially to me. It doesn't make sense to me. And this is very illogical to me. But he comes back this past week. Or no, not this past week. 2 weeks ago. During Gunther's celebration of him winning the title off of Jay. He comes back. He says that he's there to celebrate Gunther. And then a minute later, he says, because you want to disrespect me in front of my family, in front of my kids, you're next. And he leaves. Maybe about 20 minutes later, there's a graphic on the WWE Monday Night Raw that says that it's been official for Saturday night main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So that's already illogical to me. I don't know where he gets a title match at. I don't know why he gets a title match. I know he was wanting one last match, maybe his retirement match. So I don't know why it has to be for the title. Bully Ray from Busted Open Radio was trying to debate that it didn't make a lot of sense to him either. Logic wise, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Goldberg responded by saying he went 176-0. He doesn't need to get in the back of the line. He can do whatever he wants. So Bully Ray can bite him. He went 176-0 25 years ago. The last 5 years, he went 1-5. He got disrespected by Gunther 9 months ago. And then he comes back 2 weeks ago and says he's mad and that he wants a match against Gunther. And now it's going to be for the world title. So for the 9 months, where's he been? He could have been having that match after he got disrespected, right? Like a couple weeks after. Sure, if he needed surgery or he needed to heal some of his injuries, you can't bring in the family saying you disrespected me 9 months ago and now I'm going to come back and get you. To me, it doesn't make sense. Secondly, and this is what I'm afraid of, 3 weeks ago, they take the belt off of Jey Uso, give it to Gunther. Saturday night main event is in 2 weeks. Are they going to take the belt off of Gunther and give it to Goldberg? All for Seth Rollins to cash in the Money in the Bank? Take it from Goldberg? Because then you have 3 title changes in a matter of a month. 3 title changes. All just to get the belt on Seth Rollins. And to say that Goldberg had the belt, was about to go out on top, and, he lost to Seth Rollins. That's crazy to me. That's a lot of stuff going on in a little bit of time, which I don't know why they would do that. To me, it doesn't make any kind of sense at all. So I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. I would like to see if they are going to have Seth Rollins cash in, maybe have Gunther and Goldberg fight. Gunther still wins, but maybe gets injured by Goldberg with a spear, maybe, and struggling getting up. Maybe he still beats Goldberg, but then that's when Seth cashes in and beats Gunther. I mean, I'd be okay with that. Still not the biggest fan of it, but I'd be okay with it. It would make a lot more sense for Seth Rollins to take the belt off of Jey Uso, which I thought was going to happen on the Monday Night Raw a couple weeks ago, but that didn't happen. But I would much rather see Seth take the belt off of Gunther by a cash-in than Goldberg. I don't want to see Goldberg even beat Gunther at all. Gunther is supposed to be this monster heel and one of the best professional wrestlers in the world today, bar none. So for him to lose, one, 8 years old, and two, his matches don't go longer than 4 minutes. I think there was a picture that I had seen that said I think his longest match that he had in the last 5 years, 6 years was against Bobby Lashley, and that was 8 minutes. But besides that, all of his matches were within seconds to a couple minutes. 3 minutes, 4 minutes. That's it. And Gunther, like, he's this monster heel and one of the greatest professional wrestlers in the world. His matches can go on for 20 minutes, most 30 minutes. I mean, he can go. So it's like, if Gunther does beat him, like Gunther beat The Fiend, I don't want to see it. That'll kill all of the aura of Gunther if Goldberg wins. So I definitely don't want to see it. I'm good. I'd like to see Gunther beat Goldberg. Goldberg can go bye-bye, and we don't see Goldberg no more. And then we can get back to some regular ass wrestling, and we can get Goldberg out of here. Then all we have to worry about is John Cena. That's all. That is the last of that we would have to see left, because we're not even seeing anything from John Cena as a heel. But I'll get into that in a second. We'll definitely get into that in a second. There has also been reports that WWE production are left stranded right now in the Qatar airport. They got there, I think I want to say a couple of days ago, maybe this past weekend. And they're left at the Qatar airport because of everything that's going on with Iran and Saudi and the war and the bombings and stuff like that. So they're left at the airport. That freaking sucks. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Um, you know, I get that they couldn't reschedule the Night of Champions. I mean, Saudi has already put in a lot of freaking money into the pay-per-view and them going over there to go wrestle, for them to just back out and for them to be able to find another arena within a matter of a week for them to pull off a pay-per-view. For one, I understand that they couldn't reschedule the pay-per-view. I maybe had the idea of why not, if it was that bad, why couldn't they have had, instead of, they could have pulled an AEW and had a pay-per-view type of style show on Monday Night Raw, since Monday Night Raw is about 2.5. I think it was about like 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours. So they could have had they could have had a pay-per-view on Monday Night Raw. They could have had their Night of Champions on Monday Night Raw if it was that bad. Wherever they're going to have Monday Night Raw at, I want to say, I honestly, I'm not even quite sure where it is. This coming week, I know once they are done with the PLE in Saudi, they're going to be trying to get the hell out of there as quick as possible to come back to the States. That does suck for the production crew, because it's not like it's, I mean, I mean, no matter if it was anybody really, even the wrestlers, but for the production crew that can't really do anything until the wrestlers get there and until more of the WWE staff gets there, so they can get to the Saudi to Riyadh and to the arena that they're going to be hosting the Night of Champions PLE and getting everything all set up. They can't really do anything, so they were just kind of going to go there, go to their hotel and chill and wait. Now they got to be stuck at the airport waiting there while all this bombings are happening and everything's going on. I did see something where there was a report that there has been an agreement to cease fire on both sides. So I'm hoping that maybe it'll get a little bit, a little bit better, at least between the two. Um, they are still planning on hosting the PLE there in Night of Champions on Saturday morning. Besides all the bombings that are going on, I'm so excited for the PLE. I know it's usually a glorified house show, um, but with the King and Queen of the Ring tournament finals going on, with Jade Cargill and Asuka and Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton going at it, and the John Cena CM Punk feud going on, and that'll be at the Night of Champions PLE. Besides those three, I'm not really excited for any of the matches. I do know we are going to be seeing, which was just announced, which I am happy about too. Um, Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn. I think with Karrion desperately wanting to be on TV and wanting to be featured in some of these matches, high profile matches, I think he is happy to be going to Saudi and working the PLE there. I know Sammy is well loved over in Saudi Arabia, so you're not going to be having a PLE there without Sami Zayn. So I know that was just announced on Monday, and Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu is also announced for the United States title for the PLE, which I also see a change of titles there with I do see Solo Sikoa winning the United States title over Jacob Fatu. I think either seeing JC Mateo interfering in that match, or we see the debut of Hikuleo there and siding with the Solo Sikoa's bloodline and growing the bloodline even more, which I don't really understand because you have Solo, you have JC. If you are going to have Hikuleo there, that's three. Um, we do still have an injured Tomatonga and Tungaloa, who are going to be needing to return here within the next month or so. So that's like five members already there. Um, so I don't know. Um, Maybe we see Jacob Fatu feuding with Solo for the next month, at least until SummerSlam, and then after that we could see Jacob Fatu going after um, maybe going after the world title, or I'm sorry, the WWE title. Whenever John Cena drops it to whoever it's going to be, either it's going to be Cody Rhodes. Um, I would like to see CM Punk win it. I highly doubt it is going to happen, but that would be that would be a shocker of a title change. But who knows? But I do see, we are going to see, Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton fighting for the King of the Ring, and I do see Cody Rhodes beating Randy Orton. I don't like the fact that Randy Orton is going to be in two King of the Ring finals the last 2 years and losing both. But I don't see. The only way I see Cody getting back to John Cena is by winning this match right here, and I think he takes the title off of John Cena at SummerSlam, and then after we see him take the title off of Cena at SummerSlam in August, maybe we see September to December, which is what, 4 months? Yeah, 4 months of John Cena just going around um, the rest of his remaining dates, as a heel, or I'm sorry, as a face, and changing, not being a heel no more and becoming a good guy, and maybe even siding with Cody. Maybe we see the return of The Rock at SummerSlam, and maybe even turning on John, and that's where we see John Cena going face, and that's how he gets his face turned back. Hey, maybe we see Cody at SummerSlam turning heel. I don't want to see, you know, a heel a face John Cena turning heel against Cody, and then Cody becoming a face and turning, or being a face turning heel against John Cena at SummerSlam. I don't know, that would just be, I guess to me, lazy booking. But I mean, we've seen lazier, so I could kind of see that happening. Maybe Cody turning on John. But if we don't, I do see Randy Orton, slowly turning heel after losing for a second time at the King of the Ring tournament, and that's where we see Cody and Randy feuding maybe later on. Maybe later on in the year, after Cody wins the title back from John. And then we see Cody and Randy feuding maybe next year's WrestleMania, maybe a Royal Rumble. Maybe a Royal Rumble. Who knows? Maybe we'll see that. Yeah, I do see that. And then, let's see. Maybe we see Seth, like I said, Seth cashing in. Honestly, I would like to see when Seth cashes in, maybe we see Gunther do beat Goldberg at Saturday Night Main Event, and then we see uh, Seth try to cash in his Money in the Bank, and then we see the return of Roman, and that's how it sets up Roman versus Seth at SummerSlam, and we see the return of Roman. I don't know, who knows? Maybe we see that. I couldn't tell you. Maybe that would be nice to see, though. I want to see Roman return because we still haven't seen a full on feud between Seth and Roman yet. We've seen the Paul Heyman turn on Roman, and that was the last that we've seen of Roman at WrestleMania, and it's coming SummerSlam season, so maybe we see that. So who knows? That would be nice. Thank you to everybody for joining me on my rant on today's breaking news. You can catch me on all my social media platforms: Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, or X, whatever you like to call it. And you can follow me on any of those. Please like and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you when I see you. Peace.